those who are faithful in smaller matters will also be faithful in higher matters. Today we come across a very interesting parable. And this parable is named as parable of the dishonest servant. Jesus seemingly is condoning the dishonest act of this servant. The servant, when he came to know that the master is not happy with him, he is giving concession to the debtors so that when he is out of his job, he might be welcomed by his friends, which are made up out of his act of prudence. Now, we do not have to go into the merits of Jesus' analogy, but at the same time, we can focus on what Jesus says. Those who are faithful in smaller matters will also be faithful in higher matters. And those who are faithful in smaller matters will also be entrusted with the higher matters. So this dishonest servant, though he was completely dishonest with his all affairs, which is a very disputable thing, because master was very far away for a long time, so he had to manage the whole thing. He was actually, the biblical scholars would say that he was actually making profit for master. But for master, when he looked into the accounts, he could not understand that. Because of that, he was going to be sacked. So that is besides the point. The whole point is we need to be faithful in our daily life, even to the little matters. Then God will entrust us with greater matters. This is the spirituality of St. Teresa of Child Jesus. She would say that in order to become holy, we do not have to do great things. We have to do the simplest things in our life with utmost fidelity. We are called to give daily fidelity to all matters. For an ordinary human being, what are the ordinary matters? The responsibilities at home and in the community, those who are students studying, those who manage the houses, being honest with wealth, being faithful to one's wife or husband, being honest with the management of funds that is coming. These are all ordinary things that we engage in every day. There are so many other things, being faithful to the household duties, looking after the children, looking after the parents. There are so many things that we do every day. We need to be faithful to these things. And once we are faithful to these things, God will entrust us with greater things. So this is also inconsistent with Catholic teaching about actual graces. So we are given actual graces in order to fulfill our duties, our responsibilities. God gives us any responsibility is given a sufficient grace that is called actual grace. And we are given those actual graces. We need to just respond to that. And once we begin to respond to God who gives us this actual grace and becoming faithful to God's duties that are given to us, the things that we are supposed to do, God will entrust us with greater things. So holiness, life of holiness is not just doing big things, doing the simplest things in a most ordinary way with a lot of love, with a lot of fidelity. Let us make every effort to examine our life every day and see whether we are working with the actual grace the Lord is giving us in our particular situations.